Hello, hello. It's January 15th, and it's been a while since I've said anything or had a video, but well, got a lot of other stuff going on as well. But I figure we'll do it today. There's a lot of stuff going on, a lot of interesting stuff. I want to talk about Hawaii, the supposed shithole comment, and, and maybe a few other things. But let's start with the shithole comment because that was obviously the meme generator of the last few days. Supposedly it didn't even happen, but I mean, we all know if you're around your friends or whatever, and you're talking about geopolitical politics or foreign policy or whatnot, you might have actually called these places shitholes or something other hellholes or whatever. A lot of these places are, and it's not derogatory to the people whatsoever. I mean, it's actually the leadership. I mean, you look at it in these countries, there's a lot of corruption. I mean, I guess they keep referring to Haiti, and there you go. Enough said. All you gotta do is a little research, and you realize how corrupt a lot of these places are. And then if you look at the Middle East, there are some shitholes. A lot of our service members have been there. They're not fun places. Um, they're not places you want to live for the most part, with a few exceptions. So when people get all offended about shitholes, and then they don't realize that they are shitholes, and they don't do anything about it, I kind of brush that aside. It's actually comical. I mean, these people are the same people that have a lot of criticisms about America. They'll call us a shithole. It's parts of America are shitholes. Let's just, you know, brass tacks here. Let's get down. There are shitholes around here, but we can say stuff. That's why I wish it was. I wish Trump did say that because it's like that's why I really like him is when he says stuff like a real person. Like I would say in front of my friends. It's awesome, in my opinion. I know it's not like politically advantageous or anything, but it's hilarious to me, and it makes me relate to the guy. But apparently, he hasn't. He didn't. He didn't say it. On the we can go and skip that one because I find myself more laughing when I hear the shithole things and reading the memes and everything about it. It's comical, and it's just like a waste of media time, and it goes to the fact that they're ignoring a lot of these other significant stories and spending so much time on that. So anyway, the Hawaii thing, which to me, when it first happened, and I found out that there's two-step authentication for this thing, or I mean, what I mean by that is you push a button to send out the alert, and then it like pretty much either it pops up or there's another button to push that says, "Do you really want to send this alert?" And the guy did. The first thing that popped in my mind is it's like some kind of test to gauge where we're at in um, if something were to really happen. And it was ultimately a failure. Nobody knew what was going on. Nobody had any TTPs or like actions that they knew they were supposed to take. There's people throwing kids at storm drains, people running around. There was a lot of calm. It could have been a lot worse. I expect a lot worse in that situation, but still, there was no like plan of action um, when it came to that. And it almost seemed like a test rather than a mistake. Maybe it is a mistake, but it just seems so hard to believe that somebody would push the button twice. Maybe the system is so antiquated that it is like that. But you think they'd have some kind of plan of action, or at least a general broad thing. Hey, even though you're probably going to die, here's what you should do. Um, but so that is a hilarious. Oh yeah, the third thing, and we're going to skip this Hawaii topic because it's getting played up anyway everywhere, and they're using it for their own political agendas and whatnot. But the Project Veritas thing on Twitter, where the guys are apparently admitted to being 400 people that are staring at dick pics on Twitter, which I didn't even know you could put. I don't Twitter. I figure 125 characters just doesn't seem enough to be able to. I mean, be able to talk about anything. But I guess you can be that succinct. Trump is really good at it. I enjoy reading his Twitter thing, but I don't Twitter. But apparently, these guys are snooping in on private conversation, even direct messages to other accounts. They're supposedly private. There's a team of people that are actually looking at this stuff and cataloging and selling it to advertisers. So like if you watch that Project Veritas, if you go to like Zero Hedge or some of these other places where they have the the Project Veritas deal on there, And these guys are the way they're talking. It's pretty alarming, really. It's and funny at the same time. I guess you got to keep a little lighthearted on this stuff, but it's hilarious. He's looking at dick pics. He's got all kind. He's talking about having files of all kinds of people you sleep with outside of your marriage and this and that, and like you can imagine what kind of leverage you can have over someone with that kind of information, even if it is not that scandalous. That's what one of the major deals when it comes to the Fourth Amendment metadata is you can profile people easily just on metadata and just knowing when they make calls, when they don't make calls, where those calls are going to, uh, the duration of those calls. You can build profiles of people, and the Twitter thing, you definitely do that. So those are things that you need to be mindful of that are going on in the world. And I I'm baffled at this point about these things. There's a lack of integrity in institutions, even private institutions in this country, highlighted by the Twitter deal. There's just a Senate and a House of Representatives that is just almost Romanesque. You might as well put a horse in there, like a Roman Empire, a Roman emperor did. I mean, the world is crazy. Um, you look at the markets, it looks like a crescendo, as I could call it. It's like basically the last vestige of a pop before a crash. And this could go on for a while, but you see it's the slope of this thing is getting steeper and steeper, and it's kind of like it's a bubble. It, it, I heard someone say if you look like they're equating this to Bitcoin. If you look up I don't remember the doctors, the chart of a male orgasm or whatever, it like reminiscent of a lot of these things. So it like spikes up and then and then crashes, which is kind of comical, but it is true. There's there's cycles when you have all these inequalities, when you have constant supply fluctuations of money and sloshing of money, to different assets here and there. I mean, there is inflation. Inflation is expansion of the money supply. Symptoms of inflation are rapid, or prices rising, and not uniformly in all sectors. That can happen, and academically, that's how they typically categorize it. But inflation can be seen through certain asset bubbles and deflationary um, um, depressions too. So you have groups of money chasing yield or chasing other return, and then it disappears. So you have a deflationary aspect in that, and then asset. I mean, these things ebbs and flows. I mean, you have to be mindful of that. And it's amazing the ignorance in this nation over when it comes to economics, especially even on my side on the right. I mean, I cringe at sometimes when I listen to the mainstream or whatever the talk show host when they talk about economics sometimes, and they're like owning certain things and they don't quite understand it. They understand a basic gist of it. Like everybody has an inherent knowledge of economics and how it works just because of our own interactions and our own financial status or financial situations, but they don't have a very good concept of macroeconomics and monetary policy and fiscal policy. Anyway, I'm already like running over on this one because I want to keep these short as possible. I'd appreciate you like and subscribe. I'm trying to build a subscriber base. I want to make these a little more in depth and a little more into a little more, I guess, investigative, a little more journalistic instead of just doing updates. But I need to get a subscriber base. I need to get people to like this. I need to get people to talk about it. Anyway, I'll talk to you later. Like, subscribe.